Hey everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to do a slate breakdown for the Monster NHL slate, which is March 10th, and it's extra monster because there's only a 2-game NBA slate, and that wasn't done on purpose, but it's going to drive a lot of action to the NHL tonight. So I'm going to go through this, and I'm kind of experimenting with whether to go game by game or use the overall slate preview, which I sometimes do. And let's go game by game, I guess. Let's just try to do both. So what I'm doing is I'm sharing my sheets for today, which are usually only available to premium members, but just for the purpose of this video, I'm going to display them. And we sorted everything by Sheets value score, as we always do. And one thing that I'll notice at first look, now again, this is an early look, is that you don't see any really big standouts. Normally what you get is at least 2 or 3 kind of like outlier one-offs, but tonight it looks like kind of a war. So what that means is that it is probably a really good MME type slate, where you can make plays without worrying too much, I guess, about ownership. Like if you look here, I'm even looking at the ownership. I mean, I have one guy, the only guy I have is like kind of chalky. I have Kachuk at 16%, Pacioretty at 15%. But aside from that, we're just talking about goalies. But let's how do you want to do this? Want to do it alphabetically? That'll be different. Now let's go game by game. Let me pull up a DraftKings. But you see what you're looking at here. You're looking at you want to find things in the upper 20s, low 30s as stuff that's playable. So let's pull this up. Where are we? Okay. First game I have on my list here is, we'll pull it up. How do we do this over here? Okay. Is Chicago at Boston. So we'll sort this by team then. And we'll see which of them kind of cluster, So let's just take a look. Yeah, so I don't really see Chicago as being really viable. I don't see really anybody popping. Kane maybe is a very marginal one-off, but aside from that, pretty much nothing. And again, on a slate like this, whenever you can knock out any type of team, it's really a good thing. The Boston side, yeah, so this top line here of Marchand, Bergeron, Pasternak, and then you get Taylor Hall in here also. This is actually really strong. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this, I'm going to build like that. I'm going to put these guys in as they come up. Bergeron, Pasternak, Marchand, and Taylor Hall. We'll put these guys in as this is kind of like the top play, like as of now, right? And then hope maybe we'll replace them as we go through other games. Next one I have is Vancouver against Buffalo. Let me take a look. Buffalo, no, one of the worst plays on the slate. And Vancouver, oh, it's Vegas, sorry. All right, so Vegas, we're in business here. So we have these 4, and these are the one they're getting double-digit ownership, so it doesn't make, it's not surprising. So this is a very strong play. So the Vegas of Pacioretty, Dadonov, Marchessault, and Eichel. Is that better than Boston? I think it's, I think you can make the argument for one or the other. So let's put those in for now. So center was Eichel. And then who else did we have? We had Pacioretty. We had Marchessault. And there was Dadonov, right? Let's see. He was another wing. So Dadonov here. And obviously these are cheaper, so you can make that work a little bit easier. So I think Vegas is actually a very, very good play here. They're on the road though, so that's usually something to consider, but you'd also like to consider that that's baked into the projection somewhat. So Boston and Vegas so far are 2 plays. Right, so now Arizona, Toronto, I imagine as usual, Toronto's going to look like a good play. But let's just take a look at Arizona. No. Although I will say, you got 2 kind of cool one-offs here between Lawson Krause and Matthias Macchiarelli. So those could actually come up somewhat useful. You could use that as part of a game stack or as kind of very intelligent one-offs. So Krause and Martin and Macchiarelli actually look like pretty good plays. Toronto, though, I'm sure they're going to pop as usual. Not that much, though, I have to say. So you do get the Matthews and Tavares, whatever, but I would expect to have gotten a little more love for that. So Toronto might actually be kind of a fade, which is not something you see too often. All right, Seattle, Pittsburgh. You just trust me. I have DraftKings up on the other side. Seattle, Pittsburgh. Seattle's no good. And what about Pittsburgh? No, sorry, Seattle, Ottawa. Why am I wrong with it? So Ottawa, as I mentioned, you have a really strong one-off in Brady Tkachuk, but the rest of the guys really don't project all that well. So that's what I would probably limit my Tkachuk exposure to one-offs only. Next I have is Minnesota, Ottawa. Minnesota's interesting. So you have all 3 of these guys clustered here. So Kaprizov, Hartman, and Zuccarello. So let's put that in here. I wasn't expecting that. So let's put in Kaprizov. Let's clear the field a little bit. Kaprizov, Zuccarello, and who's the other one? Hartman. And again, you have to double check and make sure these guys are on the same line. You could sometimes play guys not on the same line, but you want to at least have some kind of power play correlation. Make sure they're at least on the power play line together. So Hartman, Kaprizov, Zuccarello, that's a really strong threesome up there. And they're on the road. They might. Is it possible they're low owned here? Let's take a look at this. No, not really. Hartman's 15%. So no big surprises there. And let's take a look at Detroit. Nothing for Detroit. Now let's go ahead to Philadelphia, Florida. Yep. So Florida, you have all these main guys. First of all, you have the goalie, and then you have Duclair, Reinhart, Barkov, Lindholm. I mean, all these guys are good. And this is the first one that we're showing up on the defense. So that's actually pretty important. So let's put these guys in. So it's Duclair, Reinhart, Barkov, Lindholm. Barkov's very expensive. So let's just see if we can even do that. But Barkov, Reinhart, Duclair, and the defense was who? Was Lindblom? So because you could use this, the 4,900 Duclair, 5,200 Reinhardt, and the defense of 2,500, you could probably play these guys. So Florida looks pretty good. And they're at home. Again, that's pretty much baked into the projection, but I just felt it worth emphasizing. Philadelphia, no, not really. Don't really like that. So just Florida from that Philadelphia game. Winnipeg, New Jersey. Let's take a look at Winnipeg first. Maybe some one-offs, Kyle Connor or Blake Wheeler, but nothing really great as far as stacks go. Down to the New Jersey side, no, really nothing. Well, it's not true. So you have Pavel Zacha at 3,100, and Andreas Janssen and Jesper Bratt, all really cheap. So that's actually really, really good. And then you can place Jack Hughes also. So play all 4 of those probably pair those with some of the more expensive stacks. So Jersey is certainly in play. Let's look at Colorado, Calgary. And then after we finish doing this, we'll have the Saberson build some. Colorado's fine. McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog, pretty expensive, but they rate pretty well and they look low owned. So this could actually be somewhat interesting. I hope we get to some of that. They're on the road though. Carolina, nothing. At Columbus Islanders, let's take a look at that, see if you can have exposure there. Not really for Columbus. And not really for the Islanders. Actually, you get, that's not true. So this is actually really good. So you have Anders Lee, Beauvillier, Brock Nelson, these guys all together. These look good. And look at these guys are low owned. Right now we might be on the side. So it's Lee, Beauvillier, and Nelson. So let's put these guys in. This is actually very helpful. So we'll do Nelson, Beauvillier, and Lee, right? That's what we said. I mean, that really makes the rest of your lineup fly. I really like that. What is this? I really like that. Anaheim, Nashville, as usual, probably not going to get Anaheim, but you probably will get to Nashville. But let's just confirm all that. Anaheim, nothing as usual. Nashville usually gets some of that. Yeah, so you get Philip Forsberg, always looks like a good play, and Matt Duchene always looks like a good play. They never seem to do anything for me though, but I'll probably play him again. And then you get Josie to fill out your defense and Granlund. And these guys are all somewhat low owned too. So I do actually like Nashville. I've got 3 games left. Let's go to Rangers, St. Louis. And then when we're done, we'll have Saberson build something for us. Rangers, not really. St. Louis. No, not really. You have a good one-off in Perron at 4,000. Aside from that, really nothing. But that is a solid one-off to have at your disposal. So, and moving on, Tampa, Calgary. It should be a good game. If that means anything. Probably not. Nothing really on Tampa. And on Calgary, not much either. Maybe a one-off to Foley. That's about it. And finishing up, we have San Jose against the Kings. LA as usual. Whoa. So LA has this real cheap one-off, Kaliev. So that's something to keep in mind. And then all these guys are somewhat cheap. So Kempe, Kopitar. This could be a really cool low-owned secondary stack. And it's that late game. I don't think anybody's gonna play this. So maybe LA is pretty good. Oof, that's gonna be a real dart throw. And then San Jose, Timo Meyer's okay. That's pretty much it. So just kind of review here. Let's remind ourselves of what kind of the good stacks were. So LA, kind of a really cool low-owned play. The St. Louis, just that one-off, right? Nashville was okay. The Islanders looked good. Colorado, okay. New Jersey looked all right. Florida at home looked good. Minnesota a little bit. And then Vegas and Boston. So, you got an 11-game slate or 13-game slate. You're gonna have some pretty good options. Well, let's go to SaberSim and see if we build using these projections what we actually get. Because I sometimes get sort of surprised by the results, and the reason why is because what SaberSim does, they do just a really good job of this, is not building just on individual plays. They build based on stacks, correlations, and things like that. So let's just use again, we're just gonna do DraftKings. Well, why it's delaying me, killing me. Okay, so let's put in ownership over here. is everything slowing on me today? Because I'm doing the video, right? Start. All right. So let's just build. We'll build what, 30 lineups? It's going to take. I don't know why hockey takes so long, but let's do it. Let's build 30 lineups. I have to pause while it's building. I will. But hockey takes about 5 times as long as anything else. I wonder. I really do wonder why that is. I guess because there's so much correlation involved, it has to keep on fishing for that combination that has that upside. I don't know. Hockey always takes a little bit longer. Pause this. Just take a minute. I want to predict something. I'm going to predict. I really don't know. I'll predict Vegas to be the top stat. That'll be my. Before you even look at it, I want to sort by. I want to make sure the stacks that we select are ones that I want to play. Like, I'll show you what I mean. Before I even see the exposure, let's see what stat types they're giving me. Okay, so good. 5, 2, 4, 3 is exactly what I want. So what do you think we're getting? Let's see. Ready? Boom. The Islanders, 67% owned. I mean, 67% exposure, which makes sense considering how cheap they are, right? See, this is what they're doing. They're jamming in Austin Matthews. That's kind of a one-off here. Actually, not really. Like the top owned guys are from this are from the stacks, really. So it's that's interesting. Okay, hopefully that gives you some insight. I'm going to try to put one more update up there before because I do have to do something tonight, so I'm not going to be around for the latest of updates. But I'll try to at least do something before I leave, and hopefully this at least slate preview gave us you kind of a good start. That'll do it, and good luck.